Welcome back, everybody, for another episode of BarTalk Podcast.
Hello?
With me, Abigail, my co-host, Tracy Bianco, and our wonderful, handsome, amazing, ratchet motherfucking guest, Jimmy Evans. He's so nervous.
I heard you were really nervous. I gotta get closer. Why?
You never know what's coming out of Abigail's mouth.
Yeah, well, I feel like, or yours, like when y'all get together, it's kind of like, you know.
But that's different.
What do you mean it's different?
Because it's not recorded. We can't go to jail. We can't get prosecuted for it.
That's why I was thinking when you were like, okay, what's off limits? I'm like, once you start talking, you're not even going to be thinking about what's off limits. You're just going to be talking.
Yeah. Jimmy Evans, if nobody knows who Jimmy Evans is, I think everybody knows who Jimmy Evans is.
No, we have a lot of people don't know who Jimmy Evans is.
This is my client.
Yeah.
Oh, he needs like a shoulder rub. Okay.
Why are you so shy right now?
I don't know.
Loosen up.
See. We got it.
Right before we started recording, he's like talking shit. And then when I did the BarTalk intro, he's like, oh, fuck, what did I sign up for? Hey, light up your cigar.
There's no getting out of this now.
Light up your cigar. Let's do this thing.
I told you can. No. You can just open the window.
No, we're good.
I mean, it's a tiny room, but like, we'll survive.
Go. We got it.
Okay, whatever. Okay, well, listen, don't be so, like, nervous. You can talk about whatever the hell you want. Well, why don't you start off with, like, how y'all met?
Yeah, Jimmy, let's talk about our introductions.
Ooh,
so we'll talk about your perspective of Abigail Crow. You met me when I was teaching classes, though. So this is before I ever started training. No?
No, I met you when you were, like, 15.
Oh, God.
In the old Go Performance room that Claudia was going to.
Oh, when Claudia and I would work out together.
And you were taking classes, and I ended up coming up there a couple times with her and going through those classes, and you were in there with somebody else that you went to high school with.
Go performance classes?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he used to take them.
Really?
Yeah. That's a good one. What are you laughing for?
I don't know. I just feel like you're not a class type person.
I don't know. I liked it. I mean, it was interesting. It was.
You didn't like working out. You didn't like working out. Like when you took my classes, you just didn't like being there.
Mm-mm.
I remember it was so
classes
funny.
Are not everybody's vibe.
My first real like memory of Jimmy Evans was you would come into, you were like, in my mind it was like your Claudia's cranky husband. Yeah. And because he would come into
Pretty much.
legit because she would take my classes when I would teach classes. Claudia, his wife, we would take classes together, and then when I started becoming a trainer and I would teach classes, I would teach like and Claudia would take my class all the time. Right. And then she started dragging Jimmy, and Jimmy, I just remember I would teach and I'm like, hey, Jimmy. And he was so fucking pissed. Like, he would walk in and it was like no words, the whole workout. And my whole goal for O2, I was like, by the end of this workout, like, he's going to leave and he's going to like smile one time. Like, he's going to smile one time. And I would get like one little laugh or like one little smile out of him or something. And I was like, okay, that's fine. Like, that's good enough.
So then when did you actually become client?
I don't know. Like the classes in the Go Performance room, I liked.
But that was before she even. That was years ago.
I had, some coming a little bit, then I didn't come forever. And then
you didn't go for a long time. Yeah.
So I liked those. And then my job changed a little bit. I'm going to use that as an excuse. And then I stopped coming.
Not an excuse.
And then the
work got crazy.
Yeah, I get crazy. Then you moved over. It was Momentum, and it was in the other room. And I came a couple times. I think that was the O2 class. I liked the O2 class. I didn't like being in there with other people.
That's what I'm saying. I just don't see you as a class person to be around a bunch of people.
But the
Go
Performance classes were different. I think the groups were different. But the O2 was kind of, I don't know.
What made you come back to the classes?
What classes?
Like, what made you, so you took Go Performance, you stopped for a long time. What made you come back and start taking my O2s?
Work.
I don't even know. I know that Claudia liked them, and she went to them, and I knew I needed to do something. So
like you were just sick and tired of being sick and tired.
It was kind of like, this is easy. You just show up. You go through the motions with do what they tell you to do. You don't have to think.
Well, yeah, that's the one thing about the Elevate and Go Performance. You don't have to think twice. You just come in and the workout's written.
You're not paying for programming. You're not paying for anything.
Right.
I mean, the way we had it set up, it was, you came, you went, you home. And that was it. And then work really spiraled honestly, like, things changed. And
Because that's when you started from.
that was when
You started
that was
your-
when Klarn changed hands and the original owner came back.
when you started your own business.
Mm-mm.
That wasn't yet?
Mm-mm.
Oh.
So I like went through that period at a golf course, which was very stressful and crazy.
Jimmy used to work, you were the sales manager?
Golf course superintendent at Klarn
Yeah.
ever. And then it just got crazy, and it was an excuse. I didn't enjoy it, and it was an easy excuse to say I'm busy with work, and I'm going to focus on that, and then we have the kids, and it was like I'm at work, and then I'm going to go home with the kids, and that just was, I had excuses and just stopped.
When did you start your own? When did you start?
I left there in February of 2018.
It's still PPM?
Mm-hmm. So, and purchased a company that was 34 years old when we bought it. Gentleman wanted to retire. We purchased that. I spent like the first year, leaving something you'd done for 20 years, and you knew how to do it like clockwork, and then you go into something totally different.
Yeah.
Where you have no staff, and I was by myself. Spent the first year with the original owner. And then when he left, I was on my own for a while, and I was trying to grow a business. Take a business, grow it. That was kind of tough. More excuses of why I'm not going to the gym,
right?
Why I'm eating like crap.
Yeah.
It's all excuses. I mean, you look back now, and it was a lot of excuses.
Like you had the time to do it, you just made excuses.
I had more time. Like
Super random, but how did you go from working at Klarn, making your own business, and now you're back at Klarn?
So that's a long story. So I was at the golf course. I loved what I did. Still loved it. Thinking about it now, it went through a bad spell at Klarn, and I was just over it. Buddy and I love living here. We like raising our kids in Tallahassee. Have a lot of friends here. Didn't want to move, so basically was complaining to another friend of mine, and he's like, "Hey, I know this company that's coming up for sale. We should buy it." And I'm like, "What?" And we sat down, we talked about it for like 2 weeks. Next thing you know, myself and 3 partners bought the company and walked away. Just walked away. And it was like a long process. It was like 6 months it took us to buy it, and you had to be quiet about it. We didn't want anybody to know what was going on. Purchased the company and never looked back. It's still in the same realm of what I was doing at the golf course. Instead of golf courses, it's more athletic fields and some private fields like polo fields. We've done stuff at the veteran cemetery in town. Odds and ends.
But it's
all large stuff. And then Klarn was purchased by a gentleman that's from Tallahassee. He's a businessman out of Atlanta. Recently, one of his business partners, that young man's dad and I are friends, and just linked me up with him. And I've kind of got a little consulting thing that I do with them, and was able to help hire the superintendent with Klarn now. And it's kind of a fun thing to be back in it, because I had spent my life there, it felt like, and I met my wife through the golf course. My kids grew up out there. Mm-hmm. So to be back and to see everything firsthand is really exciting.
Yeah. But you get to kind of be in it in a way that you want to be. Like you get to be as in or as out as you want. I'm in it, and I get to like spend time doing the things that I like doing out there and get to help when it's needed. Mm-hmm. But it's not his soul.
It's not soul. It's just there's no stress. It's all excitement, and I get to fill in when they need something. If they need help, I'll help them.
That's pretty cool.
So it's cool, and still run my business and grow and.
That's pretty rad.
Do
Klarn looks insane right now.
Yeah, it looks really good. Abigail and I drove by when we were coming in here, and it's going to be very good for the community, I think. So.
Yeah. Talk about when you decided to start getting in the gym and start doing personal training.
Yeah.
You came and you did classes. You took a couple
of
my classes.
I took classes. I took a lot of time off. Years off.
He's back.
Blow smoke up my ass right now.
Oh. And then, because you're going to be embarrassed when I tell the story. She's going to be embarrassed when I tell the story.
He's going to tell the story too, and I fucking have forgotten all of this stuff.
So,
Are you going to talk about the time where we sat down together?
I was
that sounds fucked up, but I'm just saying.
I was going through a bunch of stuff. Work was crazy, life was crazy, kids, and just was over it. And I was like, this is...
Just keep talking.
I was like, I need something. Like, I had an uncle that got really sick. My dad was sick. You start thinking about your life, how old you are, your weight, health. I need to be better at this.
Mm-hmm.
Not just for myself, but for her, for the kids. I have this great business. I've got great business partners. I've got a lot of stuff in front of me.
Right.
Like, I'm going to be an idiot and have a heart attack.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
So I made a phone call to someone and I said, hey, I need Abigail's phone number. And
who was this phone call?
And they were like, what do you need Abigail's phone number for? And I was like, because I'm a fat ass. I come up with excuses and I need to hire a personal trainer. And they laughed and they're like, okay. And they gave me her number.
Who was it? Can we know?
It's John Martin.
Oh.
So I called John.
You can say John.
I called John,
yeah.
you know,
Okay.
and John's laughing at me and he's like, dude, you're not going to the gym. Like, what are you doing? I was like, I said, John, shut up. You know, shut up. Just give me your number.
Why did you ask for mine?
I'm at my shop and I'm just frustrated. Like, I was just pissed off at the world, like just mad.
Yeah.
And I'm can be a pretty intense person. So I'm going for a walk and I call her and I was like, hey, Abigail, this is Jimmy Evans. And just straight up attitude. What do you want? And I was like, well, I got your number from John and I said, I really am looking to get back in the gym and I want to hire a personal trainer. And she's like, I don't train quitters. Have a good day. And hung the phone up.
Did John Martin say anything about him?
No, because he had no chance. I mean, it was like within 2 minutes of me getting the number, I immediately called her.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
okay.
I'm sick of this shit. Like, I want to make a difference today. Like, what can I do to what?
Well, it's pretty
obviously things don't take a long time to change. So like,
Yeah.
I'm like, I got to start today.
Yeah.
Right.
So she hung up on me, and I mean, I was pissed, and I literally called her back, and I was like, "Don't hang up the phone on me. Like, I'm serious. Like, you're a trainer." And she made some other comments I can't remember, and it was
amazing.
It was negative, and I said, "I'm coming to today," and I left straight from work, drove up there. She was still training somebody. I waited.
Yeah.
And we talked.
I remember this. We went into the back group fitness room.
And she was very uncomfortable because I got upset.
He's emotional. And
Yeah,
I've only ever seen Jimmy Evans with one emotion, and that's anger and rage.
Right.
So when he got personal with me, I actually wasn't uncomfortable. I think he thought I was uncomfortable. I was more taken aback. I was just
that he actually came in?
Right, that he actually came in, because I mean, I do remember this conversation now. I was on the treadmill and I remember, I was chewing his ass out. Like, I was just like, look, dude, I'm not here to like fuck around. Like, I've got stuff I'm doing, and I was still in school at the time. I was like, so this is like,
I was going to say, you came in when Abigail was still like early Abigail. When she was in school.
I remember.
I was like, I only have so much fucking room.
She was testy.
Yeah, I was testy as hell. So the fact that he came in though and he sat down and he was like, this is actually what's going on in my life. And he like shared some extraordinarily personal stuff with me and got very emotional. And I was just like, oh, he's serious. Like, he's not kidding. Because I knew him as the Jimmy that would come in and be an asshole and walk into O2 and just me trying to like make him feel better. And he was just like, yeah, fuck off. I'm here to work out. Bye.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you suck, and walk out. So that's the Jimmy that I knew. And so this was an entirely different Jimmy Evans.
So, like, when you guys started personal training, did y'all have, like, mad tension together? Or, like, was the first session
No, because she...
I think that...
I think the meeting, like, changed things. Like,
Yeah.
I had not told anybody how I had felt.
Yeah.
Like, not even Claudia. Like, Clay knew I was frustrated, but Clay's different. Like, she's like, well, stop eating like shit and start exercising. That's, like, for her, it's like, it's just easy. That's what she does.
Yeah.
Right.
For me... It didn't work out like that.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I think we'd still be where we're at today if she was nice the first phone call. But I think the fact that she hung up on me, like, that sent me like, I'm gonna show this bitch, like,
we'll give you more motivation.
I'm serious. I'm serious. Like, it made me mad that she, like, I've never been called a quitter in my entire life. To call me a quitter, like, I was like, okay, I'll die before I quit. So move forward. I met with her and I said, this is what I want. And she's like, if you miss one class, you're done. Like, I'm done.
Like
And
one session.
We went every bit of a year.
Yeah, you were very consistent.
Like, I went, and like I went when I wasn't scheduled with her and all of that.
Yeah.
And we did good, and then saw a lot of, now looking back, I feel like I saw a lot of results. She was seeing results. I was not happy with my results.
I saw results. He was never happy. He was never happy with how fast, with how slow. It was like, it was.
Well, did you expect to get in there and it just like click?
No. Like, I mean, I'm a stupid.
He's
when
hard
you don't
on
do
himself.
shit, when you don't do shit for 20 years. You know what I mean? Like, I had a
he
real
was an
bad,
athlete too. He was an athletic guy. And so to go from being the person that could do whatever and eat whatever and run around and do it, and then to be in the gym and be like, oh my God, I can't lift this. Oh my God, my cardio's bad. You know, it was like just a slap in the face.
Like,
I think,
over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, to go, like, 20 years ago, it was totally different, right? And then you come in here and you want to see, and I'm a person who, like, the harder you work, the faster you get results, right? That's not the case. That's not the
I've tried.
that's not the case at all. That's not the case at all. And then you have to give up all the shit, the stuff that you like. Like, I come from an Italian family. I like pasta. I like bread. I like alcohol. Well, all that shit's out the door.
Mm-hmm.
Bye. See, you know, I have extremely high blood pressure, so getting that in check, and I've always been on medication, but like getting that stuff in check was important, and all these things. And I look back and I thought the results were a lot more than what. Now looking back, I'm like, there was a lot of results. Then at the time, I'm like, this sucks. And I'm like, I don't care what shit costs. There's got to be some kind of supplement that I know that you can't take stuff, but I'm like, there's got to be something that will help
to aid and like
to help make
process,
it to help make it process. And with my job and my career, like, I'm used to that. There's things that you do that make things better.
That expedite the process.
Yeah, this has to be that, and that's not the case, unfortunately.
Thank you for telling me that.
Unfortunately, like, I feel like it sucks because now you have to, like, listen to her, and she's very educated, and she knows what she's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And she could have very easily been like, hey, the gym sells this supplement and you should buy this from the gym. And she's not that person. She does not put that stuff off.
No,
she's
very
actually
real.
the opposite, like, total opposite of that. So
then
I got hurt.
Well, hold on. That leads to actually a point that I want to talk about, which is not like, you don't even necessarily have to be like, this is what I saw in Abigail that made me want to train her. But for people who are like, I haven't worked out in a while, I don't know a lot about fitness, I need a trainer. How do you find a good one?
Right.
You know, what was it? What would you say to people who were like, why?
Like, was it just because you knew her and you thought they were a little bit more comfortable?
I mean,
their vibe though, because he knew a lot of trainers.
Because I said this to Drew. Like, I mean, Drew is
Whitehead,
awesome.
Our boss.
Yeah, Drew's awesome, right?
Mm-hmm.
If he listens to this, he's probably gonna laugh. I didn't feel like Drew's personality. Drew was not gonna be hard on me.
Yeah, but that's fine to say. Not everybody melds with each other.
He's not that guy. Like, to me, he didn't come off that guy. I knew from her attitude when she was 15 years old in that class that she was every bit as hard-headed as I was.
Yeah.
She was going to be, when she pissed me off when I called her and called me a quitter, like, okay, this is it. I'm right. I made that call.
Mm-hmm.
And when she did that, it, like, solidified who she was.
But that's not like to say anything bad about Drew.
No,
every person that goes into the gym should find somebody they meld with.
Yeah. Do you want Abigail? Do you want you? Like, I think you guys all bring that. And then you have people like, I didn't want the trainer that was just going to talk to me about my day. And like, I don't need a companion.
Mm-hmm.
I need somebody who's going to be mean to me. I need somebody who's going to text me. Like, the first 6 months, Abigail was texting me at lunch going, what'd you eat for lunch?
Mm-hmm.
What'd you eat for dinner? She comes over to the house with Claudia and I to have dinner, and she's like looking at what we're cooking. Or on the calories, she's like, you're eating more than that. So then she's like, you have to count the olive oil. You have to count, and it's if you don't know what you're doing,
right,
you don't know, and it made sense. And then we started seeing a rapid change. We did start seeing a rapid change, and so about that time, that everything was starting to, like, work is crazy. Kids are in soccer. You're doing this stuff at home, all your home stuff. You're paying attention to your family and trying to grow a business. I was on the phone with a friend of mine and telling him all the stuff I'm going through. And he's like, hey, you should try this podcast. So I listened to this podcast. And I'm like, this guy's a genius. Like, I like this guy, right?
75 hard.
So he was
Andy Frisella.
A friend of mine was telling me about this challenge, and he's like, he's a high functioning person, and he's like, I really want to try this challenge, but it's a lot, and so then I'm like, okay, so I've found the podcast that talks about the challenge. I listened to the challenge, bought the book immediately, read the book, and I'm just like, I got to try this. And when you look at all the stuff that you got going on in your life and you think you don't have time, and I've flashed back to when I didn't have time to go to the gym, and now I'm way busier than I was when I was at the golf course with grown kids. And I read this book and I'm like, I'm going to do this challenge. And I did it, and everyone thought I was crazy because I did, especially my family, because I chose to do the challenge. Looking at the dates, I did the challenge through Thanksgiving and Christmas. And
75 hard, by the way, for those that don't know, it's you have to read 10 pages of a book a day, stick to a certain diet plan, do 2 45-minute workouts a day. One of them has to be outside. No alcohol. You have to take a photo of yourself every single day, which is the hardest. And is that it?
There's no cheat meals whatsoever.
Yeah.
And
75 days straight.
For 75 days straight.
If you miss
and a gallon of water.
Yeah, drink a gallon of water. Yeah. If you miss one thing, you have to start over. And the first time I did it, I think I was 30-something days in.
You forgot a picture.
I took my picture and it didn't. I took my picture and it didn't upload on the app. And when I woke up the next morning, it said you failed. And in my mind, I failed. Claudia will tell you that that's stupid because I did take the picture, but I just didn't upload it on the app. Well, to me, I was going by the app. I didn't do it right.
Well, yeah, you want to do it right.
So I started over. It pushes me through Thanksgiving and Christmas. And I finished on New Year's Eve.
Oh, shit.
And Claudia and I flew to... We were
going to go watch a concert.
Houston. We flew to Fort Worth, Dallas, Fort Worth to go to a concert. So, and it was funny because, like, the whole drinking thing, like, that night I drank a beer and I was like, this is stupid. Like, I felt, even when I completed the challenge, I drank the beer and I was like, why did I do that? Right. Like, I didn't need it. And the challenge, I did not do the challenge for weight loss.
What did you get out of this challenge?
We were already doing that. The challenge for me was more of, like, I have so much on my plate. I want to do this. And I found that even though I had all this stuff on my plate, I found basically I called 2 hours out of the day, because if you do the 2 workouts, you read the book, and then plus logging everything, it's 2 hours out of your day.
Yeah.
I was still doing everything else that I was already doing, and I was doing that. So I was wasting 2 hours somewhere in my day. And it made me more structured, and I like structure.
Gave you discipline.
Yeah, so it did it. I'm actually doing the challenge again now.
Yep. I have a question for you, though. So looking back, because, like, you are now on cycle 2 full cycles of 75 hard, right? What do you were the guy that was the excuses guy. Yeah. Like, what do you say to people listening to the podcast right now who are the excuses people? And, like, how did you really pull yourself out of it? Or is it one of those where you just have to, like, just slap yourself in the face and be like, it's fucking go time, we just got to do it? Were there certain things that helped you stay accountable or get you motivated? I think
everybody's different. I think that I was an excuse person when it came to the gym. I was not an excuse person with anything, with work.
No, because you were a hard worker.
With whatever. So, like, for me, I love structure. I love to have a plan and be scheduled out and everything go according to plan. And I love to have, I wouldn't say I have plan Bs. I know that, like, in my job, it depends on Mother Nature. Mm-hmm. So, like, every day changes.
Right.
But I like being so structured and so planned out that I know no matter what's thrown at me, I'm just going to figure it out. And Claudia is the only person who's ever said this to me, but I'll get stressed and she's like, what do you worry about when you have a lot on your plate, you actually perform better. So for me,
I just got a crazy
okay?
That's hilarious.
Oh,
no, drinking enough water. You need more water.
Fuck. Tell the trainer.
You need more water.
That fucking nearly knocked my ass out.
Right. You need more.
He's a get up.
You need.
You fucking asshole.
To me, I think it's everybody's different. It's all on what you want out of life. If you want to get up every morning and go to an 8-hour job and come home and play video games or watch trash TV or whatever you want to do. If that's what makes you happy, then that's the kind of person you're.
Mm-hmm.
I want my children to. I want my son to marry someone like my wife, and I want my daughter to marry someone like me. And if I'm not setting that example of it takes hard work to get somewhere, like that's it. And I
think it's awesome.
I think that kind of falls in line with the gym because like I was tired. Like I would get up early in the morning, I'd go to work, I work all day long, I come home, I'm stressed out, and the kids want to do something, and you're just like, oh, I don't want to go out there. Like that's bad. Like I don't want to feel like that.
Right.
So it's like now it's like do things. I mean, the other day I made them walk to the grocery store from our house just because we had to go to the grocery store. I was like, let's walk down there. And we walked. 3 of us walked all the way to the Publix, got what we needed, one little bag, and we walked back. Like getting them to ride the bikes, play basketball, do things outside. But they also have to learn that like you can do more than what you think you can do. Like it's never enough.
Absolutely. Like you think you're doing 75 hard again, like because you like structure so much and it gives you structure, or you think you're doing it again because you're falling out of like a pattern?
Oh, I totally think that. I think that I went through 75 hard. Everything was going great.
I always know when Jimmy kind of falls back out of it again.
She's going to talk over this one.
Go.
Abigail had me do this one wonderful, lovely exercise that
I can't fucking stand
that tore my tricep and my tricep tendon.
Oh my god.
I'm blaming it on her.
This is the fucking most annoying. This is how stubborn Jimmy is. And
Okay.
this is where we have our qualms. Is doing an exercise, right? We're doing dips, and I'm seeing him on the first few reps. I'm like, no, we've got to modify this. Like, he's struggling. He was like, yeah, it kind of hurts, whatever. And I was like, Jimmy, all right, we're gonna change up the exercise. We're gonna go more assistive and change we're moving on. No, I fucking got it, Abigail, because he's that
Stubborn?
kind of yes. I've been training him at this point for over a year now, so I'm like, you know what, Jimmy. You got it.
Yeah. Just do it.
I think I said no, you really don't, but like go fucking
Yeah, she
ahead.
Sat down. She got mad and she walked over and sat down.
I said, fine, go ahead. And his tricep, he was like, he remembers distinctly it hurt, it hurt him.
It hurt beforehand, and then we did the dips. I just like
and then it was hurting.
Right, yeah.
Well, no, and then he goes fucking wakeboarding.
Yes, my arm was hurt for a couple weeks.
And then he goes wakeboarding and tries to do some fancy wakeboarding while he's smoking a cigar. and
then comes in and says that you broke his tricep.
Yes, and crashes. Yeah. And tears his tricep.
Right, yeah.
And he comes in and he goes after he's like, first it was, I fucking tore my tricep on the wakeboard, blah, blah. Oh my God, what the fuck? My shit's all swollen, whatever. And then like months later, he's like, you know what? I know what it was. He goes, Abigail, I didn't tear that shit on the wakeboard. I was like, Jimmy, I saw how fucking ballooned your arm was after you went on the wakeboard. Right. Yes,
it was black. My arm.
I mean, his arm was purple.
His arm. It was like
he could have gotten a blood clot.
And
died.
He's just doing that to mess with you.
I was like, it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But all the time, he sits there and he'll go up to me. He'll yell it in the gym. He'll be like, well, you tore my tricep in the fucking gym. And I'm like, I just don't even care anymore. I'm like, so what if I did?
So like it was bad for like weeks.
So he was dealing with an injury.
Finally go to the doctor, and the doctor's like, your tricep tendon is torn. Your tricep's torn. So rushed. I think it was like a week later. I'm having surgery, which was horrible. And I'd had that arm operated on before, and
the surgery's bad.
Wait, was that recent?
Oh yeah, it was last August. It's almost been a year ago. So I had surgery like 1st of August, right around the. Actually, I think it was before August. It's like end of July. Had surgery, and they told me that I could not do anything. Like he was very strict, like until January 1. Like that was his date. Like we were doing stuff with bands, and I was going through physical therapy, and it
did a little lower body.
It was bad. We did lower body, but it was very hard. Like I felt like I was like, okay, I've worked so hard, and now I can't do anything.
Now you're just like pushed back.
That was frustrating.
Talk a little bit more about that, about your process of recovery and the frustration.
It's just it's frustrating because it was like I was bitching that I wasn't getting results. Then we started getting results,
and
then this happened. And then you're down, and you can just feel yourself getting weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker.
How did that affect your other areas? Because I found that you and other clients and myself, like when you're injured, it's almost like because I can't perform to my best in the gym, fuck the gym, but also fuck all the other things that I had start, like in terms of eating or like sleeping well or drinking or whatever.
I don't think that it messed up my eating as bad. Like, yes, did things change a little bit? Did I drink a little bit more than I did when I wasn't? Yes.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
But
got a little more.
But
I did not.
Totally derailed.
I did not.
He never went back. He never went back.
I never went back on the weight. Like, so, and I'll get to the weight in a minute. It was very depressing. Like, it was depressing from the fact that I'm like, this just sucks so bad. And it's in the holiday season. My slow season is pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty slow from like November to like February, which is nice because you slow down. But that was bad for me because I couldn't go to the gym and do things. I couldn't ride bikes. I couldn't do anything that I wanted to do.
Right.
Couldn't play golf. Like, everything was an issue.
And your entire motivation for being at the gym was the results.
Yes.
Like, that's what you came in for.
I do everything for a result. I do everything because I'm going to get something for it. I'm not,
exactly.
You do that.
Mm-hmm.
And so we get through January. I went snow skiing. I start working back out with Abigail.
Mm-hmm.
My arm felt better, but weird. It still feels weird.
Like weak?
Yeah, not like weak, but there's pain. There's like a lot of pain.
There's a lot of scar tissue.
I'm
we're
like
thinking
paranoid.
That's developed around the area. That's still limiting a lot of the mobility.
Right.
And I'm paranoid that, like, I have this fear that I've torn something again. There's a little fear there.
Which is also interesting. My certification talks a lot about, like, the certification I got talks a lot about pain and, like, actual nociception, and then, like, pain, the difference between the two, and then also the way that your brain will orient and structure your perception around pain. So, like, just a fear of the injury itself can make you feel like phantom pain, you know, even if it's not.
Yeah, and
even if it's real, it'll like exacerbate it, or it'll make it seem way worse. Like he's starting now, and he was like, "Oh my god, it's in both of my triceps."
Oh,
you know,
like, it was weird. Like, I started feeling stuff in my right arm, and I'm like, "What the hell is going on?" And it's like,
fight or flight kicks in.
Yeah, I'm like active. Yeah. Like, I'm active every day. I use my arms. I do a lot of stuff.
He's also gripping stuff all day. Like, his job, he's literally gripping. He's using his forearms all day, so that is going to interrupt the recovery process,
right?
On the tricep tendon, because if your forearms are always fucking working.
So finally, I'm like, I've had 3 appointments canceled because of doctors having emergency surgery, whatever. So I have an appointment this week. All I want them to do is just say it's not torn, and if they just say that, then I don't give a shit about. It's not the pain. The pain doesn't hurt like to where I don't want to work out, but I don't want to know.
It's scary.
When I tore it and it was so bad, and he was like, if you tear it again, I don't know how we'll fix it with the tendon.
Right.
That scared me because I'm like, I have to use my arms for my job. Like, I can't jeopardize something and be messed up. I don't want to do that.
Totally.
But once he's like, hey,
get just a little closer, Mike.
I don't care. Like, the pain won't bother me then. It's not a fear of like getting hurt. So part of this is with the 75 hard, going back to the 75 hard, is I dropped a bunch of weight.
75 hard the first time?
No, like just by going with Abigail and just doing things, I dropped a bunch of weight. Roughly 32 pounds from the time we started. I was 232. I came in there the first time. Yeah.
You had already lost a little too.
And I had lost, because I had started to watch
stopped eating. He just starved himself. He's literally like,
I starved myself.
He goes, I lost like 15 pounds already. And I was like, yeah, what are you doing? He's like, I'm just not eating. I'm like, oh, that's good. Yeah,
and she yelled at me.
Sounds good.
So she's like,
that's sustainable.
2 thumbs up.
Well, she puts me on this thing, and the next thing you know, I'm at the gym 2 weeks, and I go in the gym, and I'm working out, I'm walking, I'm doing all this stuff, and I gained 10 pounds. I'm like, what the fuck? This is not what I signed up for. And I actually said, I'm not paying you and coming in here and doing this to fucking gain weight. Like, I was upset. She's like, shut up, just trust me. We went like another week or 2, and I had dropped that 10 pounds.
Yes.
Like, it balanced back out. And then we lost the weight. And then we got down.
You got down to 185.
188. I ain't never touched 185.
Yes, you did.
Abigail.
Oh, no, that's right. His goal was 185. You were like 188.
So we got down. Right. We got down to that. I got hurt.
Yeah.
And it went back up, and it teeters anywhere from like 190 to 205. Yeah. Like that's
so it's not bad.
With me watching what I mean and being somewhat active, that's it.
Yeah.
So now I know by doing the 75 hard, because of the walking and because of really tracking every single thing that I eat.
That's his diet that he chose, is to actually track macros.
But do you think that you could my question is, do you think that you could just do that on your own without it being 75 hard? Like, what is stopping you from just tracking your stuff on like any other app, or what is stopping you from doing 2 things a day?
Nothing, because I was tracking. I was still tracking it.
It gets looser when business gets busy.
Yeah.
When business gets really busy and you got 2 kids and you got a wife and you got a life and you got all this stuff going on, Jimmy, and you could speak for yourself, but from what I've learned working with him and having a relationship with him, is it's just like that takes precedence. You know, at the end of the day, if it's like if he got to do extra work or spend time with the kids or help make dinner, that's gonna happen before tracking his shit or getting another walk.
But I think it also
75
hurts.
hard keeps him to the point where it's like, okay, I'm now accountable for all of these things. So I'll find a way. Yeah. Because I have to log it. I have to do it.
But it's also harder. It's just a check and balance to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like when things got tough and I got hurt and I was pissed off at this and that, it's a little easier when all that stuff, everybody's human, right?
Yeah, totally.
It's a little easier to be like, fuck it. I want to have half a bottle of bourbon tonight, and I'm gonna smoke 10 cigars on the back porch and watch TV, like at till 11 o'clock on a Friday when everybody's asleep.
Yeah,
that's what Jimmy will do.
Now it's like you just have to find what works for you. It don't work for everybody, and people think you're crazy, and it doesn't make sense. And why are you doing that? But I really don't care. Like the funny thing is the no drinking. Like everybody has a problem when you don't want to drink, and I'm like, it's not that big a deal. Like I don't feel like shit in the morning, like right, and I feel better. But it's also it helps me with like just more than that, like the focus of everything. Like you waste time. Everybody wastes so much time, and that's the one thing I look like. We were talking today.
Yeah.
If I could give advice to any young person, like just stay in shape, do something. Like it doesn't matter what it is, but do it and watch what you eat. Find whatever exercises that makes you happy, or that you can get into, and just do that. Like I listened to y'all's podcast with the Alana, and that was like, I think that was one of your best podcasts. I think she was awesome. Like listening to her, like all her family trying to get her to do something, she found what she likes and it works. So for me, 75 hard is it, then I'll do 75 hard the rest of my life.
Absolutely.
Or the 75, the life thing that they do, because there's other phases of it and everything. Yeah. And
what is it called? It's 75 hard, and then it's
you had to mess me up.
God, shit. What is the?
Does it go longer than 75 days?
Yeah, there's a 3 phases.
There's phase 3s, but then they've got to
something for life, or something life.
It's something life, but
the app of 75 hard is pretty cool though, because don't you get to see everybody else that's doing it?
No,
like, or whatever. Isn't there like a community, or maybe it's the community?
It's called Live Hard, and it's an Instagram page, and everybody posts on there, and it's really interesting. I mean, the picture thing, like when I did it the first time, I'm like, I'll take a picture. That's easy. That's the most humbling, horrible thing that you could do. Like, I did that, and I was like, oh, like,
I could imagine.
This is bad. Like, and then I'm like, how do you hide photos on your phone? Like, because like it was bad. It's bad, and it's funny, like. Because it's the simplest thing, but it's like the number one thing that people fail because they forget to take the picture.
But it's amazing though, because like even not doing 75 hard, but even like taking videos of stuff, like I even talked about this with our flockers. Like I have videos of us from last year and 2 years ago. Like it's good that you do that, because now you can look back on it the first time and you're like, holy shit.
Oh, and I did that because I looked, I
like,
took the picture.
Where you really started from?
This time I took the picture, and then I looked at the picture of the last time I did it. And there's a difference. There's a noticeable difference. I've dropped 5 pounds in a week. I've not done anything different. Like my dieting, no drinking, but I'm not a big drinker anymore. Like even when I'm not on it.
But it's not even about the weight. Like even look at the picture as far as like your morale.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like even like videos that I take of people. Yeah. But even
Jimmy's
people, they're
always
like
fucking angry.
Yeah. But even sometimes you feel like shit about yourself. So you look. Well, yeah.
I don't know you really well.
But you take pictures of yourself and you're pissed off and you're like, oh, I look like shit. So you're gonna look like shit even worse.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
Now
but it's so interesting that you say this, because I remember too, he was taking the photos and he would come in. So it's just, he's so hard on himself. He would come in and he's like, these photos don't even look that fucking different. Like everybody else's photos look so fucking different. And it's so cool to hear him now, because he's like, these photos look a lot different.
No, they don't. They don't look different. They don't. And I was taking the photos and I didn't see it. And then I went on a trip with my brother to the Super Bowl.
And he looked a lot different.
And I think he took a picture, or somebody took a picture. I think somebody took a picture of us at the Super Bowl. And
I hate this chair.
He posted it or something, and my wife and Claudia texted me, and she's like, "You look really good in that picture." Like, and then my brother, that joking around that night, he was like, "Hey, you can eat this because like that picture looks better. Like you look different." And I noticed that I look different. So it's, I don't know.
Your own worst critic.
It's all
you see yourself every day in the mirror. It's hard to see yourself change, especially when you do it every day.
Yeah. It's tough. And now I'm back in there with her.
Baby, I'm back.
It's to me, it's just it's tough. It's because if you're a busy person, and I'm not downplaying a person that has a 9-to-5 job. I'm not like that works for some people, but my day starts now. It's starting at 4:30 in the morning, and I'll go to bed till 9:30, 10.
It's 8:07.
You know, and but my brain doesn't shut off. Like I could be laying in bed and I'm thinking about what's going on in 3 weeks, 4 weeks from now, and doing all this it helps me.
Yeah.
So Abigail has been huge at that. She bitches at me, I bitch at her. She yells at me, I yell at her. She gets frustrated.
But it's a good dynamic.
And
talk about the situation. There was one time I felt like I've been fairly patient with you and all of your questions and your frustrations and whatnot when you'd come in and I'm not making progress. There was one time that I actually got legitimately very upset, and it was when you went and talked to Drew. Do you remember that scenario?
But I asked Drew something, and I can't remember.
Drew, like...
That's how much doesn't mean, because I don't even remember what I asked him.
He basically was just like... He basically went up to Drew. I remember, because it was very, like... I was very like, wow.
Abigail holds grudges though, so
no, I know she does, but I'm a big grudge holder, so
he holds. I was gonna say he holds. He basically went up to Drew and was like, "Is Abigail even like worth? I'm not making progress like I want to. Is Abigail even worth the fucking shit?"
No, that is not what I said. Do not say
no way,
that.
He didn't.
That's
say that.
not what I said. I said that I was seeing a lot of results, but I was struggling with losing weight, and I was asking him about. It was something to do with weight. It had nothing to do with. I would have fired you. I'd have quit coming.
Fight. No,
and I asked Drew. It's so dumb because I can't even remember what I asked him. Drew
went off though. Drew was like,
no, he was honest. I will be honest with you. Like he handled it like I couldn't ask him to handle it any better. It was me. Yeah. Look, you can trust her all day long. You guys are tight, right? Like you guys are close as things, and there's gonna come a point where she's not gonna give you the answer that you want. So you think of the next person that you
want the answer from.
Yeah.
No, like you think of some.
You wanted like the truth.
I didn't go. There's how many people work in there. I didn't go to anybody else in there that talks to me in there.
Right? Hey, you went to Drew.
I went to Drew because I respect Drew, and he's pretty much the same as you with a different attitude.
Yeah.
Right. And he pretty much said the exact same thing that you said. I laughed, and he laughed. And that was it.
He pretty much looked at him. I just remember he was
it
like,
wasn't
Jimmy, Abigail,
her.
literally, like, I think he said, no, this was like the one time, because Drew, you know how he is with praise. He doesn't really give out praise, like, ever. And he looked at Jimmy and he was like, Abigail's legitimately, like, one of the most smart trainers in this gym.
Yeah, he gave me.
He was like, you need to, he like looked at him, he's like, what she is telling you is what I would tell you. Mm-hmm. So I don't really know why we're talking.
It was basically all about, like, I wasn't seeing the results as fast. And he literally looked at me. Said basically what she said, talked very well about her, and said, "You haven't done shit for how long?"
Yeah.
I mean, he was blunt. Like it was like he's like, it's not gonna come.
It's not gonna happen.
And I told her, I was
no, he did. He came up to me. He was
like,
I talked to Drew.
I did something you're getting mad.
Yeah, but you know, it's like Abigail and her grudges though, and plus it was like you went to Drew behind her back.
I was sitting there, I was like, motherfucker. I just remember thinking, like, why didn't you just talk to me about it? And you were like, I just needed a second opinion.
It wasn't even like a second opinion. I just needed to hear it from somebody else, and I heard it, and as soon as it came out,
that's what a second opinion.
Yeah, whatever.
I didn't need a second opinion. I just needed somebody else.
But I'm sitting there and I'm like, I told you, so I don't want to hear it. But I told her. So, kiss my ass.
Fuck you, Jimmy Evans.
So what's the plan now? So when did you start 75 hard the second time? Have you already done it?
I think I'm like 11 days in.
Oh, so you just started.
I just started again.
Oh, okay.
the plan now is to get. I mean, obviously,
like, do you have new goals for the 75 hard?
Yeah, a little bit. A little
Ish.
bit. Yeah, I mean, with me, I did it. I'm reading a new book, and this book is so hard. Oh my gosh.
Jordan Peterson, 12
it's
Rules
the
for Life.
Jordan
It's a hard
Peterson-
book.
it's
a hard book.
hardest book that I've ever read.
It's a very hard book
I mean,
to read.
like, I have to go
It took
back.
me 6 months.
You 6 months.
It took me 6 months
And
because
Claudia-
I would
yeah.
stop. Like, it's a book where you want to. It's important. It's all everything that Jordan Peterson writes in there. It's like he's like it matters, and so you have to like stop, and like take a second and
go back and read
comprehend.
it.
Yeah,
And
read
Claudia's sitting in a chair on the back porch reading her book, and she like sits down after me, and she gets up, and I'm like, "Where are you going to get water?" She's like, "I'm done. I'm read 10 pages," and I'm like,
I'm on page
"I'm
1.
on page 2." And then you're like, "What is this word?" Like,
Oh,
I mean,
dude, he uses fucking.
it's an
big-ass
awesome book,
words.
but I mean, I think that I'm ready for this book to be over with so I can get to a different one.
Yeah.
But it's
Which, dude, it's a long book. You're gonna be reading it the
I'm
whole
like-
75 hard days.
I'm gonna have to keep read more. I'm gonna have to read 20 pages a day to get over this.
Yeah, dude, it's
But-
such a hard book.
As
Good
far as
expedite
goals,
process.
is to get through this stupid doctor's appointment this Thursday and let them just tell me, "Hey, you're good, go." And then just that way I can look at her and say, "I'm good."
Mm-hmm.
We both know that when the pain is there, it's not anything that's damaged.
Yeah.
Because that is something that she acts tough, but like she can tell. Like when I'm doing an
Oh,
exercise,
yeah, she's your trainer.
she's like, "That hurts, doesn't it?" And
Mhm.
and instead of her saying that and wanting to stop me, she knows that we just got to work through it.
Right.
And I'm fine with that.
But that's this week. So, like, what's
That's
your
this
goal
week.
over 75 hard?
Oh my
Like, what's
God.
your long-term goal over 75 hard?
Realistically, I want to get back. I want to get past where I was before I got hurt. And I know that's a lot of work.
Like, the whole weight and everything, the whole weight,
Like,
the whole
yeah,
discipline,
I don't
everything?
think the weight be a problem. I don't think getting to that weight is going to be a problem at all. I think
It took him forever to realize that he struggled so much with weight loss because fucking blood sugar's off. And I've been
Yeah, I'm
telling
off
him
as
that
I
for,
speak.
I can't even tell you how long I've been telling him that for. And he comes to me, and it's so funny because I got to let him figure it out on his own. He comes to, no, you called me. He goes,
I got blood work done. I'm like, I'm pretty much
no,
diabetic.
he goes, I know.
She's like, "No shit, I've been telling you that."
he goes,
Thanks, Abigail.
he
Appreciate
calls
it.
me, he goes, "Abigail, I know exactly what's been going on this whole time." And I was like, "Yeah, Jimmy, what's up?" And he's like, "Dude, I'm pretty much diabetic." I said,
like,
"No,
no
fucking
shit."
Yeah, and then it hangs up the phone again. So, no, the strength,
Click,
like
quitter.
we saw, I think going back and talking about the future, I feel like the results, I felt like I got more results in my actual strength than what I probably thought I was going to get.
Dude,
Yeah.
he got so strong.
Yeah.
He
But
got
the
so
weight,
strong.
like, I remember, I mean, it was bad. Like,
He was
like,
like repping out.
I-
I remember he got strong quick too. Like
'cause
he
we
was.
were at 70.
You were repping out on dumbbell bench, like ripping 75s. And I was just after like not that long training. I'm like sitting here. I was
And
like,
then
dude,
got
I
hurt.
can't fucking.
Where
train
have you been?
I was like, I can't fucking like can't carry these anymore to you. Like I have to.
Well,
roll
no,
them.
what was really funny was we
Like,
would do
here's
exercises.
here.
yeah.
She would come up with an exercise like the dumbbell press or incline dumbbell,
Yeah.
right? We would do that, and she'd be like, "God, how are you like? You don't work out. You haven't been in the gym."
No, like, he's insanely
How
strong.
did your
Like,
strength go? Like,
Yeah, but don't you
that
work
high?
every day?
Yeah,
With your kids and
but
stuff?
then she finds an exercise, and it's like a 3-year-old. Like I'm like,
Oh yeah, there's
holy
some,
shit, I can't do
Like
this.
lateral raises with 10-pound dumbbells.
No, he
Like-
would do some shit. Like he would do some weird. Where I was sitting there and I was like, "All right, we're gonna do like a split squat," and he's got like his fucking 10 pounds.
Yeah.
But yeah, like there was things that like
No,
I'm
I-
freak.
yeah,
I would
yeah,
say
yeah.
like some stuff I freakishly strong for
Yeah.
somebody who doesn't go to the gym.
Mhm.
Other stuff where I'm like, how do I
How do you
move?
function?
How do I walk? Like this is horrible. And then like my job on a daily basis is with equipment and going on athletic fields, and you're walking and you're up on a trailer, down on a trailer, and
Right.
you do this, right? And we
Lifting
would
shit.
do legs, and I'm like, oh shit, this sucks. Like I couldn't move the next day. Or one time we did leg, and I go and I'm dying.
Sorry, I just noticed that the
You're
bar
changing
talk.
the colors
I'm changing
of
the
the
colors
BarTalk.
with my ass. I think that I'm like, oh
The,
shit, it's like going off and. Sorry, I just went like ADHD hardcore.
Wait, you're saying your legs?
So
are hurting?
she makes me do legs, and then the next day I had to drive to a Popka, which is like when you're in a big truck with a lot of equipment, you don't drive like you normally drive on the interstate. You drive slow.
Right.
So it's like a 4-hour drive, and I hit traffic. And I got there, and when I went to get out of the truck, I could not move. I was like,
there was one time he texted me, and he goes,
I can't feel anything.
There was one time he texted me, he was pissed. He was like, I'm not fucking doing legs with you anymore. I just fell out of my truck.
Yeah, like I literally one time I'm like cramped. I like go to get out and I cramp and I like fall and I'm like, what the hell? And you look like an idiot. Like I'm in a park and I'm like, what am I doing?
With them 10-pound dumbbells.
Yeah, it's like horrible. So I think I want to get back. My goal is to be back at weight, doing the exercise we're doing with more weight than what I did. I got hurt, and I don't think that is not.
I don't think that's not.
I think it's
attainable.
achievable. I think it's totally achievable.
Yeah.
I think it is with her help and listening, and I feel like she's
actually
gonna laugh at me.
listening.
But shut up. I
We have
listen.
that film.
I listen.
We have that on
He's
film.
on tape. He's actually gonna listen.
I listen. I may not agree with what you're saying, and I may not like what you're saying, but I do.
And I may resist.
I do believe you. You've not steered me wrong one time. Not one
It's
time.
like he's gonna like really think about it before he
like,
says it.
Now I'm like, shut fuck.
Now you're never gonna let the shit down.
Dude, he's just like blowing smoke.
But like she can no, she's
Now her
she's,
head's gonna be twice the size.
Oh, yeah, he's still big. She's
I give a small head.
she's very good at that. And I think
totally.
the difference is, I mean, a good friend of mine is training with her. She's trained Claudia, and I think like I'll go home and I'll like joke and I'll be like, "Oh, today Abigail said this or we said that," and she's like, "Y'all's conversations are so different than mine." Or like, what motivates Claudia is different than what motivates
Totally
me.
different.
What motivates
yeah.
Chuck is different, but she knows she has
Which
that
are some of my
ability-
clients, by the way, for those that don't.
She has the ability to figure that out very quickly,
Mhm.
and she knows. I mean, she can say stuff to me that she probably can't say to anybody else.
No.
Like, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I can say stuff to her. I'll be like, "You're a crazy bitch," and I'm not doing that, or I'm not doing legs today.
Mhm.
And we do legs, and I bitch the
and
whole
we
time.
compromise and we do legs.
Right.
Yeah, and I mean it's funny, and it's. I think between 75 hard being and wanting to get better, I think that it'll happen. I don't have a problem with it. I see it going right back to where it was before I got hurt.
I think you definitely can.
What are some of the perks to having a personal trainer? But what are some of the drawbacks? Like, what are some things that you're like?
This is gonna be good because you're the first person that we've had on this podcast that isn't an athlete. Like for those reasons.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
No,
That
seriously.
was a fat joke. But
No. Like on a serious note. No, but listen, on a serious note, like everybody else
We
has like
had
specific
sushi.
goals though.
No,
And,
so
I mean,
like,
you have goals as far as like life though, you know? So it's not like you're training for a specific race.
Like,
or
I mean,
anything.
not like, no, I mean,
But so, what are some of the
no,
perks?
actually, we were training for a race. We were, and then I got hurt.
And he tore his
What
fucking
race?
tricep. A Spartan.
You were gonna do what?
I was going to do a Spartan. I had talked to my brother into it, and he had
And then he tore his tricep.
What
and
the
then I tore
fuck?
my tricep. We were going to
No,
do
literally
it.
it was like.
Damn it,
Literally.
Abigail.
We were climbing
tearing his
ropes.
tricep over here. What the fuck is that
I'm gonna-
We were
shit?
doing anything. So
Just because it was a Spartan. If it was any other race, I wouldn't blame it on her. But now
I think for me personally, like, I'm very busy.
Hmm?
So I don't have the time to sit down and read a book or read stuff online and try to teach myself on what to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
I'm not, it's not me.
Nor do you want to do
why
that.
why not, and if you can afford to pay someone to do it, right? I mean, that's a big cost, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you should pay somebody to teach you to do it the right way.
Absolutely.
I think you should research and find out the right person to get you to what you want. You know, I think you just don't walk into the gym and be like, I want personal training. And
Good luck.
What are some
then,
metrics?
you know-
Hey, what are some metrics that people can use? Not just because you talked about like, oh, I knew I wanted to be a trainer because she was like a hard trainer. But what about like you have to find people
you're
want?
gonna ask me a question. Go ahead.
What are some metrics to find somebody who's like an educated, takes her job seriously? Like, what are some things that you looked for that you were like, okay, Abigail's not like full of shit. She actually is like knows her job. You know, I can tell she's educated. Because if you don't know necessarily the language, or was it just like, fuck it, I don't care.
No, I mean, I know why I chose you, right?
Okay.
I know that. I can't say that for someone else. I chose you because
Yeah.
your personality.
Okay.
I was just about to say that.
Okay,
I was
but
literally just about to say
here's
that.
what I would do.
Because I want to give people also advice
If
for
I
like
did- if
finding
I
someone
didn't
who's
know
smart,
you-
not like full of
If I didn't know you and I didn't know Drew and I didn't know John Martin and I didn't have the ability to go to people, right?
Right.
I'm bad. I would have gone to that gym and I'd have walked in there and I'd have got on that treadmill every day at different times of the day. Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
And like
No,
watch people.
no.
I would have been
Watch the
very,
trainers.
Right.
very curious to the trainers, right?
Mm-hmm.
You could pick, I'd throw half your trainers right out the door the first time I saw them.
Yeah.
Right. And that's nothing against them because what they're doing is what that person needs. For me personally, I would have never, it would have been the way that they looked, as far as the way they presented themselves professionally.
Mm-hmm.
How did they talk to their clients? Are they messing with their phone? If I saw somebody pull their phone out, that would be a no for me.
Yep.
They would have to be in shape.
Yeah.
That's fine to say. Don't be bad about
I'm
saying
not
it.
in shape.
Yeah.
Why am I going to pay somebody who's not in shape to tell me to get in shape? Like, kind of practice what you preach. Like, I feel like you gotta do, like, for me personally, if I'm paying somebody money, then that's what it is. If I narrowed it down to if I saw 2 or 3 people in there, I would be very upfront. I'd say, look, I'm looking for a trainer and I would like to do a session with you. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm also going to do a session with that person and that person. Do you have a problem with that? Nope. Because if you're good,
Yeah.
you're going to be,
Shouldn't.
no,
You
you're
don't
good.
give a fuck.
You're good. You're going to be
Yeah.
like, you know what? Go train with
figure
them.
it out,
Go
yeah.
train with them
Right,
first.
you
Go
should.
train with them first and then come train with me.
You're right.
Right? Or train me one time and blow my socks off and then I go to those other people.
Yep.
If I couldn't afford a trainer, I would just come there and pay attention to what the person that looked like they knew what they're doing, and I'm serious. I would.
That's smart. No,
I would
that's
find
actually
that
not a
out.
bad
I
idea.
mean, I never knew what programming was. I never knew that you do online coaching. I mean, you see those things that scroll through Instagram that look, to me, that's a joke. That's like the fat pills.
The online training.
Some of that stuff just
Some of
looks
it is.
gimmicky. It looks very
like the
gimmicky.
4 weeks, 6 weeks
Beachbody
pro-
and this
yeah.
thing,
Oh
right?
yeah,
Oh,
it is.
yeah.
But when learning from Abigail and like that she has clients, like that would be another thing. Like, hey, I can't afford to have you train me 3 times a week or twice a week, but could I buy this program from you? And maybe you do one session with me, and in 8 weeks I can do another session.
That's
you
what
see what I'm
Claudia
doing.
essentially does.
You know,
Mm-hmm. It is very independent.
and you
so
could do
I
that.
just-
But
that's-
I think that people think it's funny that I train with a female. And
It's not though.
But I'm like this. Like most people that have made jokes, I'm like, go there with her one time and you'll see real quick that it has nothing to do with that. Like it doesn't. I mean, I think you can look at certain people and go, okay, do I want to be like Jason Reese, right? I mean, so Jason Reese works out all the time, right?
Yeah, this is a guy
If
that works out.
I
of
would
Momentum.
have to come to you, like if I wanted to look like him and go through all the stuff that he goes through and eat like he does and live that life,
Right.
I would have gone to him.
Right.
And I'd have said, hey, look, man, I'm tired of being fat. Like, what did it take? And he's going to be like, well, I started 20 years ago and I do this, but that's not what I want. I don't want to, I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that guy.
Right.
I want to be in shape. I want to be able to play with my kids. I want to be able to run a mile if I have to and do my job and be able to sleep at night, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
If I can do all that, I'm fine.
Yeah. But it's just like honesty. Like as much as she needs to be honest with you, like you have to also be honest with your trainer. And I find that all the time in the gym. Like if people don't work with your trainer, then you're not going to get results that you fucking want. And that's the thing. Like you did pick her out of a handful of trainers because you wanted her for specific reasons.
Yeah.
And you have every right to do so. Like you should never feel bad about doing that.
But I felt like, I have been able to, she's very easy to be honest with. I mean, I've come in and she'd be like, how'd you eat this weekend? And I'd be like it.
Right.
Like, well, what did you eat? Well, I ate this, and this. And then there's been times where I've said that and she's like, well, that's not really that bad. Like, or she's been to my house and she's seen how I eat.
Right.
And it's very, very frustrating with eating because Claudia eats twice as much as I do. Like if we sit down at the dinner table, she eats way more food than I eat.
Right. But I even mean like honesty as far as like keeping her as a trainer. Like I've met people in the gym who have trainers that they don't even like the people they're training with. And I've always been like, get rid of them. Like it's like if you like, you know what I'm saying? I've met people that are that way and they feel bad because they have a trainer. But I'm also like, if you don't meld with that trainer, then you gotta fucking move on. Like you said, you were gonna, if you never knew Abigail or you never had people to talk to, you would train with a couple different people and figure out which one you wanted to go with.
Yeah, and if something was wrong, I'm out.
Right,
Like,
exactly.
And I would say, like, look, hey, it's it's not you. I'd be like, it's just not working.
We're breaking
it's not
up
working.
here.
But it's tough. Like, one of the biggest things that I've learned when I started going and first started with Abigail is I would go to the treadmill first, like while she was training somebody else. So I'd get there early, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and I'd be on the treadmill or a stair climber or something. And you're looking around and she would make fun of me because, like, you people watch at the gym.
It's the best place people watch.
Claude and I had this discussion. One of the biggest things about working out with Abigail is because I see changes, right? I don't want to be that guy that's been going to Momentum Gym 7 years and he looks the same that he did 7 years ago.
Right.
Like, he hasn't lost any weight. I don't want to do that. And if I go by myself, that's what's going to happen. Like, right?
He's thinking, I know exactly. I'm not saying anything because I know exactly the people he hops off the treadmill and he's telling me about.
No, because
so
it's just
I'm
like,
being
you
very
don't,
quiet
like,
right
you
now.
feel bad because I'm like, and I don't know their situation.
Only they knew.
No, but I don't know their situation. But and you don't want to judge somebody, but because maybe it is a money thing, maybe it is something, and you got to give people credit if they're coming there every day. They're doing more than 90% of the other people.
Right.
However, I'm like, you're putting the effort in, and you're not seeing results. Like, you're looking at yourself, and you know you're not getting results. Ask for help.
It kills us. It pains me inside to see people like that. It does.
It
because
sucks
it's sad.
too because
it's sad. But I will be honest with you. I think that it's probably a financial thing. I mean, it's very expensive.
But also, people are very embarrassed. Like, I've pulled a lot of people into our program that have literally walked by, like, our class, like, day after day after day. And I'm like, hey, why don't you just come in here one time for free? And they're like, well, I'm kind of embarrassed. Like, I don't really train a lot, but I really like what you're doing. And it's like, everybody's got to start somewhere. Like, I think it's an embarrassment thing. I think just like you didn't want to take pictures of yourself because you're like, what the fuck? It's like, people don't want to start.
I mean, I took it. I was like, Jesus.
Right. It's a money thing. It's an embarrassment thing. It's like
OnlyFans ain't happening.
It's a lot of different reasons why you wouldn't want to do that. But I mean, like, that shit pains me. I see that in the gym all the time.
I think
there's many people like that.
Yeah, I think a lot of it's a financial thing, but it's really an ego thing. I think people also just don't understand, like, they're used to spending their money elsewhere. Their priorities monetarily are elsewhere. You'd be surprised how many people actually can't afford a personal trainer, but a lot of their money's going to, like, eating out or makeup or getting my hair done or get my nails done.
I actually pulled one of my clients by specifically telling her how many Chipotles she eats per month per my training sessions, because she didn't want to train with me anymore because she said it was too expensive. This was like last year because I'm like dwindling on clients. She's like, oh, it's getting too expensive. And I was like, well, how many times do you eat out a week? And she's like, well, I eat Chipotle like at least once a day because I eat out. And I'm like, so it's $20 a day for 5 days a week, and you train with me twice a week, right? So like we broke it down on how many Chipotle meals she eats versus how much she could spend on personal training, and then she cut the Chipotle in half and can afford both. And now she eats at home, eats Chipotle, and trains with me.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're just spending your money elsewhere.
Yeah.
A lot of people have it. They just spend it elsewhere.
It's kind of where your priorities are.
Yeah, it's the same thing with time. You
do
things elsewhere.
Yeah, I mean, time is, but people don't realize how much time they waste.
People don't know how much money they waste
I love, like, everybody has their pet peeves, but when someone says, I'm so tired, I'm like,
shut the fuck up.
I just laugh.
I'm like, cool.
I'm literally like,
Yeah.
you
All
don't know
what tired
is.
Yeah.
No.
You don't. And it's like, I'm thinking to myself, like, how do you live? How do you go through that?
Mm-hmm.
That's like bad.
People are pussies.
That's like the worst. Well, I was gonna say that. But the tired,
we were all thinking
the tired thing is really like, I've never been one to say like, I work this many hours this week. I mean, I know what time I get up and I know what time I fall asleep, and I'm pretty much thinking about what I got to do all day long and on the weekend. And it's like, but that's part of it. I think if you're going to be successful in life or successful in business, you gotta put the time in. If you're not putting the time in, then you're gonna be what you are.
No, 100%. I love that.
You suck.
Well,
you're gonna suck. You're gonna suck. I mean,
no, but it's the honest truth. Yeah, but that's the honest fucking truth. Like, I just feel like people. I mean, like, we try to say that all the time on the podcast, but it's just a lot different coming from somebody else, especially coming from a client. You have to put. I mean, I don't know. You have to do it. Like, I'm back to the point where I'm stressing. Like, I'm looking at a calendar because I travel out of town twice a month. I go to Apopka and I go to Walton County.
All the time.
Right?
Where's the first place?
Apopka, which is like, I'm 30 minutes from Orlando.
Oh.
Right? So I know, depending on that is, like, I'm sitting there going, okay, well, if I do that on this day And then this day, I'm like, now I schedule around Abigail. Like, okay, I know she doesn't want to train on Fridays, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know she doesn't want to train on Saturdays.
Mm-hmm. I don't mind training Saturday mornings, but he wants to come Friday at like 4 p.m. and I'm usually done with my day by 2.
Which I get. Right. Like, I get. So, like, I'm trying to move now. I would have never done this 3 years ago. I would have never scheduled. Are you kidding me? Like, I'm going to dictate my work schedule so I can go see her.
Right.
Like, it's not.
It's because I'm fucking.
You gotta stop saying this shit. Her head's going to be this
no,
big
but
by
it's
the
not,
time we
but
leave.
it's not. No, that has nothing to do with her. It could be anybody. But, but
fuck
it's
her.
But it's. I think once you buy in and once you want to do it, like, I feel better when I go there. Yeah. And I have never, ever, since the first time we started, even now, I've never once been on my way there and gone, I do not want to do this.
I was just about to ask you that. Like, has there been a time in 75 hard where you've been like, fuck, I wish I didn't do this?
Oh, son of a bitch. Was it Saturday morning? Because I think I worked Saturday. And I was tired. And I was like, my alarm went off. And I was like,
ugh, what the
I was like, fuck that. I'm going to do them both later today when I get done with work. I laid there like 2 minutes and I got up and Clay's like, what are you doing? I was like, fuck it. I'm going. And I got up and I did my 45-minute outside workout. I didn't even change because it was like a Saturday for work. So I just got straight in my truck, got a water, went to work, came home. And then I did another walk that day.
That's rad.
I try to try to do like walking and bike riding on the weekend.
Because the second one doesn't have to be an intense workout, right?
None of them have to be intense.
You literally could walk
2 times a day?
2 times a day, 7 days a week, and that's a workout. Right? So
for 45 minutes.
Right.
But
for some people, you'd be surprised. That is a fucking workout. Yeah, one of them has to be outside.
One of them has to be outside.
If it's raining.
The first time I did it in a rainstorm. I had full on rain gear with a rain hat and everything.
I see you walking down the street in trash bags.
No, it was like 11 o'clock at night because I was like, we were busy and it was starting to rain and I was like, I'm going to wait till it stops. I'm going to wait till it stops. I'm going to wait till it stops. And finally I was like, screw it. I'm going out there. My shoes were soking wet and I'm like, this is it. But I felt like, and I ended up doing that like 2 or 3 times, but I felt like that was part of it because when you listen to podcasts, like you have to do it outside because you're supposed to be in the elements. And I've done it sense. Recently. We did it and it was like 2 o'clock on a Saturday. And I mean, it was muggy and hot and you're just
out there anyways. But it's just amazing how people are different.
That honestly though, what you just said was probably like the best compliment you could have given me. Like, I understand that you like you've been very complimentary of me in this podcast. It's very weird for me. But the fact that you could say I've gone, there's not been one time that I've not wanted to go.
No, and there's not, and it's beyond
because like, that's really my goal with my training sessions. Obviously, I want progress. I want to see my clients do well. I want success in the gym. Like, I want every single one of my clients to be like, I fucking feel I love going and I feel better when I leave. And like, if I can do that, that's like, then I've done my job.
And it has sucked. It has sucked. I'd say that the first year was great. And then we kind of got to a point where I picked up Walton County, which
shit got stressful.
It got a little stressful. And there was times where, my career, Abigail will text you at 6:30 in the morning on a Sunday because she doesn't have children and she's not married yet and she doesn't party. So she's not out late on Saturday.
Unless she comes out with me.
So I crack up laughing when I get these messages. So she's trying to schedule her week and she's self-employed and I respect that. I know what it's like and it sucks because if my schedule gets screwed up and I have to miss, like I hate messaging her. And in the beginning, like when she first got out of school and she was like training, it really bothered her. Like you could tell, like it's a difference. Now, as busy as she is and she's been out, now she knows that I'm not bullshitting her. Like I'm not, like for me,
it's not because you just don't want to come.
It's not that because and then I've said to her, you better bill me, like charge me. Like she put
because there are times when he'll have to skip because
I mean, she has to do it, and that's not fair to her. She works hard, and she's got a life, and she took up a spot that she could have given to somebody else. Like that's what's right. But I've never not wanted to go. You know what I'm saying? And I've had shitty days, completely stressed out. She's seen me walk in there where I look like I'm about to have an aneurysm, and by the time I walk out of there, I'm better. I'm still stressed. I'm still bugged, but I've come down. Like it's. So that stuff helps, and I think it's good because you're in there. I think very rarely have I ever answered the phone. Like if I answer the phone, like I got to take this call. But
Yeah.
very rarely. Most of the time, I just turn silent where I don't hear it.
Yeah.
But I think she's been a big help with that.
That's awesome.
So
that's awesome. It's so funny. I never see you guys train together because I'm never there when you're there. I'm in and I'm out.
Alana's gonna love this episode because Alana has seen our dynamic very firsthand.
I miss her when she would come.
Is she shadowing you
Alana
when y'all train?
She's
She'll
done it
shadow.
like once or twice, and I think the first time she did it, I was like, I'm not fucking doing that. Like,
Alana's literally watched Jimmy and I have like
banter back and forth.
like,
well, you said something earlier that was like she's able to talk to you differently than she talks to Claudia, and that's something that I had to talk to Alana about because I was like, you have to know how to talk to your clients because it's every 30 minutes. Let's say you have back-to-back clients, the way you talk to one person is not the same way that you can talk to somebody else.
No, and
so
I
she
feel
probably saw y'all together and was like, what the fuck?
Well, and the other and
because
sometimes
Alana will watch me. She'll come with me back to back, so she'll see me with the client before, and I'm training like my 11-year-old, basketball player. And then I come in and I'm training my, single like lady or whatever, and then I'm training Jimmy. And so she's seeing all these different personalities. And of course she's like, okay, cool. Like the 11-year-old. Yes, I see this, okay, this woman that she's training. Okay, cool. And then it's Jimmy and I'm like, what's up, fucker? He's like,
we're saying something like we're in the back
he'll be
room
like, Abigail,
and there's
shut
nobody
the
around.
Fuck up.
You're in the back room and there's some girl over there or some guy over there with earphones on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're like
talk shit,
being shitheads to each other.
Yeah.
And then like someone gets carried away and I'll be like, don't talk to me like that. Fuck you. Or like I'll yell at her. And you turn around, there's like 3 old ladies on a machine and they're like, and it's like you have to watch it because like we're having a good time.
Yeah.
But I don't want them to like.
I lose business.
Don't know.
I lose business probably off of him every time I train.
At this point in my life, I'm not worried about anybody in there like being like, I can't believe he said that or whatever. Like I know my relationship with Abigail, and it's a joke. Yeah. I don't want it to be like, but I feel bad for her because I'm like, somebody heard her say that. And they're like, not gonna. Mean. Yeah, they're like, she's so
Jimmy
mean.
has only lost me money.
Come on now, that's
no,
nice.
no, Jimmy. Well, I think it's
Chuck's
different.
still coming
when he's not canceling me for work. No, I think that Jimmy is one of those though, like. People can tell our relationship because Jimmy will say that kind of shit and then I'll start laughing. So everyone's like, what the fuck? And then I'll bust out laughing. They're like, okay, they're just weird.
Like we're not going to say a name on this one, but there's a buddy of mine that comes in the gym and he's asked me numerous times, like, hey, what's up with you training with Abigail? And like,
that's weird.
Are you happy?
Oh.
No, are you happy? What do you like? And I mean, for months, like I would just be like, dude, you're coming here, you're not seeing results, like you're wasting your time, you need to just give her your money. Mm-hmm. And I like joke with him, and it's definitely not a money thing. So then I started trying to embarrass him. We'd walk by and he'd be doing something. I'm like, well, you'd be doing that right if you had, hired Abigail.
I know who you're talking about.
And then he doesn't hire her and he hired somebody else. And I've been teasing him. And it's I think what it is, it's just like what we were talking about earlier. Everyone has a different fit. Mm-hmm. Right? Yep. Like,
some people
I
don't
probably
like
would never, ever have you train me because I don't want to run. And she'd be like, today we're running. And I'd be like, bye.
Yeah,
like,
just see ya.
See you later.
The first day,
I'm gonna run my ass out of my truck.
The first day Tracy tries to put your ass on a bike, bro.
I've ridden a bike.
He'd want to kill me.
Tracy's like, all right, we're doing a 5-minute warm-up on the bike. 5-minute warm-up.
Like, what the fuck?
Dude, on one, running like 85, whatever that is.
RPM.
Yeah, there we go. We're good. We're rolling. We're good.
I want to make you run.
Hit that 50 RPM.
No, but the class thing is interesting. Like she's gonna kill me. I wish there was a day that I could come in and do the class that I did do with you. The one that I bitched at all the time.
He liked my O2 class.
Her O2 class was fun. I
fucking was fun in those O2
classes. The O2 class was fun. Like
O2 is a fun class. That's why Mondays are my favorite to teach the flockers because you just yell at people all the time.
But if I do like my 2 to 3 days a week with her, 2 to 3 days a week with her, and then have a day where they had that class and I take that class, I would do it because it's I'm walking in. And I'm just going to do it on what they're doing.
You don't got to think. You get yelled at. It's fun.
And if it's really bad, then I'll just go get on the stair climber and I won't do the class.
Right.
You look bored.
Why?
She looks bored.
She's not used to this. She's getting a shit ton of compliments right now from you.
I'm so confused.
Why are you confused?
Because it's
no,
weird
you're
for
good.
me.
I've always said you're good, and I've always praised you at what you are.
It's like, this has never happened before.
Whatever.
I'm used to the abuse. No, Jimmy's a great client.
I just think it's really cool because you're one of those people that has genuinely, even though maybe you did sports before, but let's just like pretend that's like
no, it doesn't count when it's 20 years later.
I was just about to say, but it's
not,
like a full circle thing. Like you genuinely came in and you put in the fucking work to make it happen. You know, like you did.
And it sucks too because like I look back, like everybody has regrets, right? We can all sit here and go, I regret this, and I went down this road. I should have went down that road. Like I remember I was like, I am never running again. And I like beer and I like this and I like that. And I'm like, holy shit, if I just would have ran twice a week or if I'd have done this. And like there was times like going to the gym. I remember going when I first met Claudia, I was going to Gold's Gym when it was over by Olive Garden. Mm-hmm. And I was going in there and I did that for like 5 or 6 months with some buddies and it just stopped. Mm-hmm. Right. And I'm like, if I would have just stuck with it then. Yeah. Right. Like if you just
I really hope that people like listen to this and like take it seriously because I feel like we talk about this shit all the time and like being consistent and having some sort of driving factor in your life to get you there. But we're also trainers. So I feel like there's a weird part of people that are like, oh, well, this is part of their jobs and they just happen to love it. So of course they're going to tell you to do this. But you're a genuine client that like put in the actual work and found the trainer that melds with. And like, I hope people listen to it and take it seriously.
I think it was in the first 75 hard was... I was like, I get a lot of phone calls during the day, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of times I'm in a machine. A lot of times I'm sitting in an office, right? And I remember one day I'm sitting there and I took a phone call from somebody knowing that phone call was going to be an hour phone call, hour and a half phone call. And I remember just going, this is so stupid. I should just put my earbuds in and go get my walk right now. So then I started doing that. I started making it a point when I was at work, not counting a workout. Mm-hmm. Like if I was in the machine, instead of putting it in park and sitting in the AC of a machine, listening to this person talk, I'm like, park, off, walk.
Fuck yeah.
So you start like, and then I started seeing like steps. I was like, oh, I did this many steps. But like you start seeing, you start
gets the cool ass watch now.
But no, like, oh yeah. So then she's like, oh yeah, there you go. Go buy a watch. I'm like, hell, I'll go buy a watch.
I'm not saying shit.
I go buy a Garmin watch. She's like, why'd you buy that Garmin watch? I'm like, oh, freaking $500 watch. It's not right.
I just like shitting on Garmin because
Tracy, I think it was you. I think
Drew.
She's like, oh, Tracy has a Polar and Polars. You need to buy a Polar. So like, I'm like, all right. So Drew was like, Drew got me like the hookup on the Polar. So I ordered it. Comes in the mail. Clay's like, what's that? I'm like, well, you can have the other one. Like, Abigail said this one's better. So I bought it, but that's the thing, like finding your time. If you don't want to go to the gym and the gym is not your thing, then walk your ass around the neighborhood or go do something. Do something.
I think the most inspiring thing watching Jimmy as my client has been.
Are you gonna cry?
No, I think it has been seeing him not just grow and get stronger but like the way his confidence changed, the way he like saw himself, the way that he started interacting with other people. And it all started with like, it takes a lot of courage to be able to go up to somebody and be like, I need fucking help. Mm-hmm. And like, I'm also like way behind where I'm supposed to be.
Right.
And like, he legitimately, he was really what a true man, I think, is, which is I fucked up and, like, this is where I'm at. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to be very vulnerable with you right now. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to tell you, like, I cannot do this by myself. Mm-hmm. And throughout our training has continuously done that and been like, right. I need help here. I have a question here. Thank you for helping me here. And, like,
and some of the shit you don't even understand, though. Some of the shit she like tells me, and I'm like,
but aside from all of the, and of course, there's obviously, I'm so proud of you for your actual like progress in the gym and training and with life. But like, I'm really, really insanely proud of just the person you've become through training.
And it has helped. Like, I've always been a very confident person, especially at work. Like, I've never been to like not have confidence in that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or confidence with Claudia or confidence with other people. But like when you pull in that parking lot, like I felt like I'm bad. Like I am not. This is embarrassing.
But your confidence is even,
like,
it's different. Yeah. It's different.
So it's kind of like you gain it there, it starts showing in other areas, kind of a thing. And it was very hard. I think it's been harder, and you haven't said anything about this, but it's been very hard for me being married to who I'm married to. Okay. If my wife sat at home and I'm trying to not say it like that. If my wife just sat at home and watched
if she was a super homely bitch, if she
she sat at home and watched TV all day and she wasn't active and all that.
It's easy to be who you want to be. Yeah. It's easy to just be like, I'm going to skip the gym.
She's not that person. Like I make comments, and Abigail has been to our house countless times, okay? I don't know a person that could walk in her shoes. Like, I don't know someone who could get up in the morning at 4:30, 5 o'clock when she gets up. She does I guess you would call it a workout routine. She does lots of stretching and core exercises in the morning. Now she's kind of doing 75 hard, but she's drinking. And I was like, hey, just do this with me. I don't care if you drink. Like, just do the other stuff with me. Right? So she's doing it. But
Claudia is also very regimented. Is what the whole thing
she's regimented. So she has a routine, man. She gets up. I leave. She packs the kids' lunches. Most of the time they're done the night before, but sometimes she packs the kids' lunches. She does her thing. She eats the same thing every morning for breakfast. She irons her clothes. She gets the kids dressed. She gets them out the door. She goes to work all day long. She does not take a lunch break. She eats her lunch at her desk. She leaves. She comes to the gym. She comes home. We eat a home cooked meal every night. We all sit down at the table. She freaking does all the laundry. Like she doesn't stop, like nonstop. She's always doing something, and it's like that all through the week. And I'm like, if she can do it, like, you know what I'm saying? It's hard. It's hard to, and she's never been one. She never once was like on my ass. No. Like with food, sometimes she was like worried about me because my blood pressure and my diabetes in my family.
Yeah, like actual health issues.
She would be kind of like that, but she never. I knew that she enjoyed it, right? Like the gym is like her thing. So it's kind of like now it's kind of our thing. Like we can talk about it. Like I would go home and it was one more thing for us to talk about. Like Abigail showed me this, or she beat the shit out of me, or this sucks. And then, you know what I mean? So like it's important that I think they both do that. Like
it makes y'all closer.
Yeah. And
it gives you guys another common.
It's something different. And now we walk and like we do things. So
it's made your relationship stronger, I think.
Yeah, I mean it's different. It's another time I get to see her more, right? Because I see her when she comes into the gym, then I go see her when I'm leaving the gym. Like it's just more time that we're getting together.
They're so stupid, dude. They'll sit there, we'll be working out, and they're like look for each other in the gym, like all cute and shit, right?
Well, but then they come after me.
No, but then they come up to each other. So I'm thinking, I'm like, they're so cute, you know, they're finding each other before their workout, and they'll come up and they'll just talk shit. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, this is so cute, and it'll be like, what's up? And you'll be like, ugh, hey, and then Claudia will be like, whatever, fuck you, bye, you know, and it's like. That was so romantic.
Do you train back to back? Like this?
I get there at like 4. Before 4. Yeah, Claudia I start with her at 4. Claudia gets there at like 4:30. Usually when I'm finishing, you see her
walking up.
She's either walking up by herself or Chuck trains after me. So her and Chuck, she knows my buddy Chuck pretty well. So they'll be walking around the gym. Today they came. She went in. She's like, "Where they at?" And Chuck's like, "I don't know. Let's go find them." So here comes Chuck and Claudia walking around trying to find us. So it's like,
it's cool. But it's cool that you guys share that, though.
Yeah,
I think it's really important.
And it's good. I mean, I mean, when I first was like, "Hey, I'm hiring Abigail," she's like, "What?" Like, and I think honestly, I think she was waiting for me to quit. Like, I don't think she thought that I would have stuck with it.
Yeah, you did it
the way that I did, you know. And then when I was like, "Hey, to the 75," she's like, "You're gonna give up alcohol? Like, what do you?" And you know what I mean. So it's like,
yeah, now you're killing it, and you actually enjoy it. That's the thing. It's like you actually enjoy it. It's like I actually enjoy this.
Hey, you did a whole episode with us.
Yeah. You cut me off now.
No, I'm not.
We can talk about whatever.
Listen, I'm so serious. You don't understand. Like you talk the entire time, but I just genuinely enjoyed that so much because I hope that other people fucking listen to that shit and take it seriously.
That was awesome.
Like, you hit every single nail on the head.
Well, man, I don't know. I appreciate it. We've joked about this since y'all started it. But I was like, what are you going to ask me? And like, were you going to make it?
Well, I don't know why you were so nervous. We just were going to ask you about like
Jimmy
you
likes structure.
I was like, you got to give me some kind of thing.
Oh, we weren't even crazy. We didn't take no shots. I told you could have smoked a cigar.
I was not going to smoke up your room in here.
I don't get.
And I'm on 75
hard.
hard.
Fucking care.
We'll do another one after 75 hard.
You can't smoke a cigar when you're in 75
Can we do?
Yes, you can.
I was gonna say what?
Yeah,
but can we do truth or drink whenever he's done with 75 hard?
Absolutely. That's our next episode. Is we got to do Happy Dad Truth or Drink. We got to bring Anthony Walker on here. So when you're done 75 hard, we'll do a celebratory
we'll do
Truth or Drink.
You'll come back on?
Yeah, I'll do it.
See, that wasn't so bad.
It's not bad.
Yeah,
it's easy. You're nice.
We weren't so bad. Okay, everybody say bye. Bye, Jimmy.
Bye.
All right. Thanks, Jimmy, for coming on.
No, seriously, thank you.
Love shit out of you.
Oh, God.
Say it back.
We love you, too.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. Oh, my God. What are we doing?